So thank you. I'm saying thank you to the host for introducing Gopi sir. Um, Gopi Thangavel, as the host has already introduced us, is VPIT and Head Infrastructure Project Cell Security Operations Reliance Industries. Gopi, it's wonderful to have you again as part of our information security conclave.
Pleasure is mine, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Gopi. My first question, Gopi, to you is how has the conventional approach to cyber security threats changed today? What's your perspective?
Okay. See, when we look at the conventional, it's remained the same. If you really look at the way we do the authentication, the way we do the overall, you know, anything, whatever the security things we are doing it right now, even today, whatever the visibility we have the compliance, we have the threat mechanism, protections from any inside and outside, outside to inside. Even you take a simple example of our north to south traffic, we call it. For example, which is the user is accessing traffic, and there is another traffic we call it east-west traffic, which is the server to server and other internal network traffic. But when you look at that way, we largely focusing and largely what we do is we focus on the north-south traffic, which is outside our network, how people are accessing, which is a nice thing. But that is only 20% of it. 80% of the traffic happening from east-west. Now, what happened? A lot of companies they don't follow that. They don't check on these things, which is happening server to server or any other network to server. That traffic is very, very less. Very few companies doing that. So when we look at the legacy way, legacy, whatever before the design was there, it's not consider almost everything, and very few company consider like a 5% or very, very little percentage work from home, and they also traditional way of VPN or other options. But now in the pandemic, almost everyone is working from home. And when we look at it in that way, it's difficult to continue the same legacy because even a simple VPN, if you what they size it for 5 to 10%, now 100%, it's very difficult. In overnight, you cannot do. So that is one of the challenge. And traffic, before it's 20% traffic from outside to inside or inside to outside, which is we call it north-south traffic, which is increased almost 80%. So when we look at the same legacy way, it is not going to be continue the same like what we think. It is completely going to.
Thank you, Gopi, for your wonderful view. You mentioned about majority of employees working from home. Now, how do you really manage collaboration in the security operations center? Considering that a lot of people are working from home, you have a lot of endpoints which have opened up, threat vectors expanded. How do you see the role of the security operations center?
Actually, it's increased like anything because before we protect only the particular thing or particular area, and the endpoint is since in the local network we are able to control in multiple policies or whatever it is, AD or group policies or antivirus endpoint security, HIPs, and so many things we used to do that. But the biggest confidence before we had it is it's all in our network and within the systems and within our premises. Now, the way things are happening, it is out of our hand technically because each home we don't know. If you look at anybody's home, they are not having only the computers. They have their IoT devices. They have Alexa, they have Google, Apple. They have so many electronic devices which is beyond our imaginations, and not only limited to our office network laptop. They have so many other laptops, other mobility devices, iPad, tablet. If you look at it, average home they normally have normal people having at least 10 devices connected to the same network. We don't know what kind of vulnerabilities they are going through. Similarly, when you look at the large people, they have even 40 devices, smart TV, smart, whatever you call it, even bulb, whatever it is. So many things they call it smart, and all the network, it's getting weakening the entire environment, the way we see it. So what you said is absolutely right. It is not easy to collaborate all the security people together, but instead of that, it is technically increasing the risk for what we do and remote whatever it is. And now our another biggest risk what we are going through is the response and resolution. Before at least whatever it is, even from the server level or any other level, SAEM and any other way, we will find out. Okay, there is some attack is happening. Okay, immediately we prevent or we try to mitigate the react to the risk. Now the way it's happening, it's taking some time to understand there is attack has been happened from the particular end user point or any other things. And over and above, before we protected our office environment with the physical security. So nobody cannot just come and do whatever they want. We have a proper ID card, proper authentication, access card system. Everything is there. Now you never know who's looking at the computers and what are the protections we are going to do. What exactly we can do about the overall security for the physical security. You know, and the biggest challenge we are going through is the BCP. If you look at any IT guy, before everybody knows that the company, IT systems, everything in the data center. Now, so everybody working from home, if small failure also, they cannot wait for it. Now, all the system, critical systems supposed to have a BCP plan and DR plan or whatever the plan, which is also failing now. So when you look at these collaborations on physical, either it's a BCP in the other team, or when we talk about the delay in response and whatever the risk we are going through, the collaboration getting a lot of challenges.
Yeah. Thank you, Gopi. You mentioned about increased complexity. So how do you see the role of automation, specifically, like you said, the threat vectors, surface area, if I can say, has increased considerably. Now, how do you see the role of automation? Can you give us examples or use cases, in your view, where automation can be really be helpful?
Actually, to be honest, automation only in the future we can see that. That's how it happens. Whatever now 24 into 7, if you have a large enterprise like a lakhs and lakhs of people and millions of people working, it's very difficult and complex to monitor, and your customers is logging. It's very complex to monitor that. So when you look at the automation, that is the only way is the future. We are able to see that. Even you take an example of like authentications. Authentications before it's a very simple ADR particular authentication. Now it's not like that. It's going one time OTP or biometric or continuous authentication also now that there is a concept. When you look at in all other way, there is definitely a automated way only we can prevent that. Otherwise, right now, like a Srikanth is logging from Mumbai today, the same Srikanth ID login from South Africa. So we are able to correlate the event and we are able to protect Srikanth ID. Right now, that is the beauty of this all this automation together. The same thing, you are continuously, somebody trying out your password or something. We are able to mitigate, okay, wherever the IP is coming, we are able to filter that IP, not even allow them inside the network, and we will ensure that. So, and over and above the automation going to be the way, right now we are focusing too much about our end user point. You look at the Facebook or any other social media or even Instagram. We don't care which system you use or which browser you use or what system you have antivirus or not, is threat protection. They don't care because end of the day, whatever you have it is not going to impact their services. So going forward, the SaaS-based model, it is going to be in that way only, and everybody going to do the automation in a way seamless, and this endpoint protection and investment, it will reduce. In a way, you do whatever you want, and Citrix kind of, the Hyper-V, other things. And over and above, the biggest challenge for a lot of people is protecting the data. So when we talk about the data is the only thing we are talking about. All the things we are doing to protect the data, even for end user or server or whatever it is. So unless you are doing a right automation, and that's why we are talking about moving everything to cloud services. So you will, whatever failure happen, you nothing going to impact your services. So this overall thing, when you look at it, the automation is playing a huge role. And there is another gift is like deductions. The deductions you cannot do manually. You definitely need a way like anonymous deductions. How we can protect that? So that is you need automations for that. So these are the quick thing I can think of.
Yeah. Thank you, Gopi. Now, Gopi, what is your perspective on employee reskilling and training specifically in light of the pandemic and the change role? Like you said, a lot of skills are getting changed. Cloud-based skills are more needed now. Automation skills coming in now. If you have to look at employee reskilling, what are some of the areas where you would advise CISOs to kind of reskill their employees, especially with respect to the emerging new threat vectors?
You won't believe it. Currently, whatever the things we are going through or any company, the easiest trick is the phishing attack. If you look at it, it is like a streak and send a mail. I just need to click a link. So the biggest trick is that one. So the biggest challenge everyone going through is the simple phishing attack, which is happening from quite long. And there is one report which is shocking: COVID-19 websites, which is newly created, around 1 lakh plus sites has been created in the last few months. So the phishing attack is getting increased like anything, and people are scared to see, and everything become IT automations. So it is very important to train the people, not only limited to non-IT, including IT also need to get trained. And we are able to see many even IT leaders and many other people also victim for such a things. They easily get fallen for it. When they get something in SMS, they people click. When they hear something in WhatsApp, they are thinking, and sometimes some people click it. Email also the same thing. Even whatever the filter, we are able to do even 99% or 98%. Still 1% mail, it will skip from the any tools. So the training and awareness, it is really, really very critical for it right now. And unless we are not updating it, imagine that the guy in the still legacy way, it's going to be a disaster for the entire organization. So it is important to increase the knowledge of the person and the environment, whatever it's happening, he need to understand that. And quick adoption is required. Quickly he is able to adopt what is happening in the market, what is happening in the environment, and where we are standing right now, and the environment, how we can improve it. So for all these things, the basic awareness and training is required, and over and above, the skill set upgrade is much, much required. Otherwise, without skill set, even we bought a, it is like about a BMW, and the guy doesn't know how to drive the new, the way. Then it is going to be a challenge. It is like a same thing, like a bought a flight and you don't have anything. Then what is the use of that? So it is important to upskill the person, and it is important to awareness for the non-IT, because it is security and other thing. It is not only one person responsibility or one particular team or domain or department responsibility. It is each individual, whoever is getting connected. Imagine the situation. It is like your house. Your house, you're supposed to know what kind of people coming to your house. That's what we call it. Known traffic is important. Unknown traffic we're supposed to eliminate. So the guy is coming like a milk guy or water guy or relative, friends, whoever it is, our neighbor. You don't know who's having COVID or what happening to him. So it is important to control the environment, which is who's entering your house. Same like our environment, like a data center or network or any other point, who's coming to know, who's coming to do that. All these things is very important. And for that, we need a skill and knowledge, and training is important.
That's a wonderful analogy you give about the BMW. I think
Mhm.
like even having the right tools probably is not the right way. Employees also have to be skilled enough to learn to how to apply those tools. Now, Gopi, how do you see the role of the board in the changing threat scenario? If you have to advise board members, or what are the kind of steps they should take at a board level to ensure that their companies or the companies they represent are well protected?
See, whatever we do, we try to protect that business, because that's the only thing, our only goal we have. Because and we are exist because of the business. So the stakeholders and whoever the investors, they are the one responsible for everything. Even small incident happen, the first thing we do that, we inform, because it's very important to keep them in loop and let them update. And they are the people know that what is our end of life systems, what is our new things we are going ahead, what is our strategy, what are the things we are going to procure, and what are the new technology we are going to invest. Everything they should know that. It is very, very, very important and critical. Without the stakeholder support and without the business approval and without the investor knowledge, we cannot do anything. So this is one of the crucial area. So that is why, if you look at anybody, even it's a board meeting or we are updating quarterly or yearly to the investors or the stakeholders, we ensure that we all align because they really care about one thing. Are we exposed? Are we in risk? Are we in danger? Are we in non-compliance? They ask only these things. And as long as we are able to help that, the business will grow amazing. Imagine that the security is so bad, nobody going to invest on that company or any other services. Even no, even consumer will not consume that. So to give the confidence to the people, it is first we have to convince and keep update the investor and stakeholder. So this is the very key area, and I believe all the company does it. Without the stakeholder, we cannot do anything.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Gopi. Now, my last question, one of the last questions I have for you, Gopi, is specifically for new CISOs who have just entered roles or even for experienced CISOs. Uh, what is the roadmap or what are some of the best practices or advice we would like to give? I mean, we have seen about 1 year of the pandemic, change times. Now, how do you see, obviously vaccines are coming. You may still have some changing scenario from a work from home perspective, or maybe a hybrid work home scenario. Uh, what level of planning they should do? If you have to advise new CISOs and experienced CISOs, what would be?
See, every day is a learning. It's important for them to think like fresh. They shouldn't think they know. They're supposed to know that, okay, let me explore and let me know what it is. It's same like just before what I explained. It is not only allowing the people, your network. One is first we should know what we have. So then only we can plan what protections we are supposed to do. It is like a simple asset inventory. That is a basic step. That's where a lot of people fail. So the moment we come to know what is the basic assets we have, what are the assets we are carrying and what are the assets connected in the network and what are the things connected from outside. So the moment we have the basic inventory, we are good to go. Then only we know that, okay, these are the things I have. Now how I'm going to protect it. How I'm going to ensure that, without hammering my customer and end user, how I'm going to protect it. So for that, they need to plan it out, okay, based on the asset category or risk category or critical of the role the asset plays. Because sometimes, some small asset play a crucial role because if that asset goes down, everything goes down. So it is important to understand. And second is we should not just follow what other does. You can hear and understand from what other follow. But at the end of the day, it is like a medicine. Each people going to tell hundreds of medicines for even small fever or headache. And all the 10 medicine, if you started to have, you know what will happen to your body. So you should know your body. Then accordingly, you have to act on it. Then somebody not need even medicine also, they know what to do. So it is same thing is applicable to our environment. It is important for them to understand and do accordingly. Not like everything they started to protect and nothing will work and nothing will work out for the customers as well as end user. So asset, criticality, category, and assessment and move on. That's the basic.
I think the way you explain these concepts is beautiful, Gopi. I think a lot of people would understand to the simplicity of what you explain concepts. Wonderful having you as part of the conversation. I thank you again for being part of the Information Security Conclave. I would now like to hand it back to our host. Again, Gopi, thank you for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you, Srikanth. Thanks for having me here.